Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
First.
And am I clear?
Clear.
Good. Are you back home?
I got home today.
Oh boy, this is dedication, folks. This is dedication to the craft. All right.
Yes, I planned it this way on purpose.
The audience makes the mistake of thinking we do this show for them.
Well, I Googled and researched, like, when's the least busy week of the entire year for Disneyland? And it was like basically, oh, thanks, Google. It was basically like this week, Tuesday to Thursday, and that's what we did.
Now that's called planning and preparation. Two concepts that I'm not very familiar with. Oh no.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. He's back. All right. Did you have any mail days waiting for you when you got home?
I had two.
Let's go. I have zero. I have none.
That's kind of the fun part about going on vacation. You come back to a bunch of fun mail packages. I had like some other clothes that I was waiting on too, and cards, so it was kind of a fun day. All right. I don't think I showed you this one, but I got it in the mail today.
Okay.
So it's a big surprise for everybody. 2014 Prism Gold Chris Paul.
Nice one.
So this will be the third year. So now I've got the first 3 years of Prism Golds.
Sick. Okay. All right. There was a question coming up about whether you're going to have to start collecting more Panini stuff now with Kevin Durant as a potential PC target.
Well, his rookie stuff is top scrum and exquisite. So, do you have any of these ones from any player?
Yeah, I do. That's 14. That's 2014.
Yeah, that wasn't like a condescending question. It's a genuine seeing if you've seen like the surface. Yeah.
I do. I have. You know that quarterback Hoyer, Brian Hoyer.
Tom Brady's backup for like 20 years.
Yes, exactly. We pulled his Prism Gold from 2014 Prism from a football box. So that's the one third-year Prism Gold we have is a Brian Hoyer with a terrible manufacturer scratch on the front.
Oh, because these are like the whole surface is gold, right? It's like the most kind of per square millimeter of gold.
I love those. Those remind me the most of the 95 Ultra Gold Medallion, which also is just all gold background.
So this would be Embiid's rookie year. I think he's the only big name guy, right?
I think you're right. I know Wiggins was the top pick that year.
Yeah.
Not sure if we're putting him in the big name group.
He made
it's got the
year that year, so
yeah.
Use
it's got the
that product.
The winter version of Chris Paul. He's wearing the long sleeve. He's cold. All right, the other one. I only showed this on my live mail day, and it was a BGS, and I never showed it because I was crossing it. So I got it back from PSA today.
Let's see. Let's go. Yeah.
2006 exquisite Noble nameplates LeBron. I bought this on like 2 months ago, and shipping was slow. Then I had it sent to ship my cards where it waited for a while. Then it came here. Then I sent it to PSA, so it's been around for a while. I bought this a while ago, but finally got it back in the collection now.
Is that one of the thicker PSA slabs?
It is. Yep. You can kind of tell, right?
Yeah. Those are nice. And it kind of like form fits to the card.
Yep. Yeah, these are nice, and they chose the correct direction for because it's based on like if they can make the auto vertical and then the back, and neither of them are. So if they can't make anything vertical, they should turn it to the left.
Did you include directions?
I have before. Yes, I do that. I'll put it in the notes. Put it the left side down is what I'll say. I did on this one.
Facts. A quick question from Mohammed. He says, "How has your ship my cards experience been?"
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's a great service. Saves you a lot on sales taxes, and so it's great. And then he's fast too. And I've seen it. I've seen the warehouse. It's from Brian Wells. He's the owner, and he's a penny collector actually. But it's a warehouse in Arizona, and it's very impressive, very large, lots of security cameras. It's great. It's a really nice facility, and they turn stuff around. Like if they get shipped something, it shows up in your dashboard like within 2 days every time. So you basically like have it in your little virtual vault dashboard, and then you can choose to ship it to yourself, or he'll hold it for a while too if you need. I've seen his little facility, or where he his little like storage racks where he's got everyone's cards labeled and everything.
Very impressive. Does he have any plans to maybe start issuing NFTs to people whose cards get sent to his vault? Yeah.
No,
All right. Just curious. Okay. And
he's definitely he's an old school guy like we are in that regard. he's
yeah,
a cool guy.
I know. Someone trolled us with an NFT question, so I'm just keeping the vibes going.
Yep. Getting us ready.
Getting us ready. All right. Do we have any announcements to make, card letter related? I don't think so.
I don't.
No, I don't really either. No. Okay. Some interesting. Here's a card letter announcement. For those who are interested, go to the sales history feature and look at the golden auctions that ended this week. There was a lot of really interesting cards that didn't make it into the big auction recap story posts, but are still cards that are cool to think about.
I love how you.
Let me tell you, those big cards didn't do well. They did
Well,
not do well.
This is how I can picture you doing it this way. You see all these auction recaps on Instagram, and you're like, I'll show you a damn auction recap of all the 101s and all the cards out of 5 that set all-time highs that haven't sold ever.
Yeah, let me just like, that's what kills me is like, if 8 other people are recapping the auction, we don't need a 9th person to do it. You know? But,
They're not even recaps. They're just like, this sold for this price. Next.
yeah. Or look, a 3-color patch. Yes, we have eyes. We can see how many colors the patch is. All right, let's go on. What are you laughing about? All right, let's get to questions. An interesting array of questions this week. I was really kind of hating on the questions as they started coming in, but I think you guys rounded into form by the end. But we'll see. I'm gonna get Josh's opinion.
So like their midterm grade was like a D.
Well, I don't, or maybe I was just in a mood. I don't know.
You're in the Kyrie Irving mood?
Yeah. Oh my God. All right.
We gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about Durant and Kyrie. Come on.
Yo, yeah, we got questions about that. We definitely got questions about that. Okay. But the first question is from Drake's PC, Super Bowl predictions. What do you think?
I was thinking about this today. My rooting interest is directly correlated to who annoys me less on the hype trains of the different collectors. Like, basically, are the Hurts people annoying me less, or the Mahomes guys? And I think I've decided that the Hurts people annoy me less, and I'm rooting for the Eagles. So I'm going to go Eagles in a close game, hopefully. I want to see a close game. That's really all I care about.
Yeah. Okay. And they are 1.5-point favorites.
Okay.
So, look, as I was thinking about this, I just pulled up the schedule and looked at recent games from both teams going back to December. And the Eagles have rolled. If Jalen Hurts was in the lineup, the Eagles have rolled every team by like 30 points. Yep. And many were playoff teams. Whether it was they rolled the Giants twice by 30 points. They absolutely obliterated the 49ers. And, it is true that some of the 49ers QBs got knocked out, but the Eagles knocked them out. The Eagles' defensive pass rush knocked out Purdy and you. So I just think that I'm gonna call a bold shot. Not only do I think the Eagles win, I think they win by 5 points.
Dude, what'd you say?
like 25.
Dude, you should bet on that shit. That's probably like plus 5,000.
Oh my God. Yeah, maybe I should write a little bet.
It's just like it's a little bit hard to bet that big of a spread against Mahomes, right?
Oh, totally. Totally. I mean, he was down to Jimmy G by 10 in the fourth quarter and found a way to win in his first Super Bowl. Like, there's no gap that he's not going to be able to close quickly.
Well, didn't the last Super Bowl Mahomes play in? He got rocked.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Against a very tough, against a similar
Defense.
situation. Against a similar.
I saw. Did you listen to the Simmons pod talking about the Super Bowl like lead up?
No, I listened to the NBA part and I skipped. I've heard enough Super Bowl takes, honestly.
Well, they were just talking about like the quarterbacks that the Eagles have played this year, and like the only two that stand out are like Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers, and both like scored 30 points, I think, against the Eagles. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we will see. I think it will be a really. I'm hyped for it, but okay. So let's move on to this next topic here because I almost forgot the Super Bowl was happening this weekend.
Yeah, the trade deadline took over, bro. I think the NBA totally won this week, don't you?
100%. 100%. Well, it's a trade deadline, and it's an NBA player breaking the most important record in the history of basketball.
Oh.
So those two things,
What's that second one? I didn't hear about that.
We're not going to do the Hayden thing, all right? We're not
She can. I'm ready. She can do it all she wants. I'm rich, Chris. Did you not know this?
I'm holding the Super Bowl too, so like that's why I don't have a pick because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, you
look that I don't care about.
You picked against the Eagles so hard that they knocked McCaffrey out.
Yeah.
So I just can't. Okay, all right. So Tasty Card Sandwich actually wrote in and said, "Can you guys talk about anything but the NBA trade deadline?"
Oh, I'm sorry. No, we cannot.
We're sorry.
Too juicy.
Tasty Card Sandwich didn't understand the directions. The directions are give us topics to talk about.
The assignment. He didn't understand the assignment. That's the phrase.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look, Christina's very hip all of a sudden.
Really not.
All right. But shout out to Tasty Card Sandwich, a reliable contributor to the show. All right. Mostly 90s basketball cards says how many draft picks need to be included to trade a Mikal Bridges PC for a Kevin Durant PC. and then Card Gems 23 says, will Josh start a Kevin Durant PC? So let's just talk about whether you're going to PC Durant. Let's talk about how you're feeling now that Kevin Durant is on your team, the Phoenix Suns.
On the PC front, I'm going to let it settle for a little bit. I don't want to jump out. His stuff is not cheap like some of these other guys I've been jumping on, so I got to be a little bit more cautious. He's not obviously like LeBron prices, but he's also not, Chris Paul and Penny Hardaway. He's a little more expensive. Plus, it's like the hype of, everything that's happened. I feel like his prices will go up a smidge, maybe. I'll let this excitement kind of level off a bit.
Fair, yeah. Yeah, Stiff put out a post about some of the Kevin Durant cards that have been going up lately because of the trade to the card letter page, and I was like, oh, okay. Like one of them was up 30%. I was like, well, that's probably not going to last.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
hurt too. I mean, I really like Mikal and I like Cam Johnson, obviously, but as a Suns fan who has no championships, I think this is a great move. You got to go for it. You just got to go for it all. And we know that, like, you really can only win a championship, in my opinion, in the NBA if you have a mega superstar. And I don't think Booker is quite there, and Durant is. And so now if you've got Durant at the front, and then you've got Booker with a lot less pressure now on him, he should be his game should open up. And then Chris Paul kind of just leading the show. Ayton now can just focus on, big man stuff. It seems like a really great trade on paper. I'm just worried about injuries because Mikal Bridges literally has not missed an entire – he missed his first game. Did you know this? He missed his first game last night because of the trade. And he played 4 years straight without missing a game.
That's so ridiculous and stupid. They should have subbed him in for like 1 minute. Come on. We got to keep that Iron Man streak going. I also believe Mikal Bridges has the most wins over the last 4 years, partially as a function of never missing a game and being on a great team. But that's a fair take, and I know that's a tough take as a Suns fan to ship out two young, promising, homegrown talents.
Yeah.
So
I'd rather have one championship and then be terrible for 5 years after that than continue this, second round, third round dance,
Fair. All right. And then this also was for mostly 90s basketball cards. From LeBron to Chris Paul to Kevin Durant, Josh keeps collecting players that are drafted closer and closer to the end of the Topps Chrome era. Will a Kevin Durant PC force him to jump further into Panini's offerings?
Man, I do like the OKC Thunder cards. Like I always like those jerseys and I like that team. They were so exciting. Remember those teams when they were like playing the Lakers when Kobe was getting older? They were so exciting when they had Harden, Westbrook, Ibaka, obviously Durant. So I have some nostalgia for those teams, to be honest. Like I thought they were a lot of, and then like the OKC fans, you remember that? Like they would just have crazy playoff crowds, and because they were so excited to have a team at the time.
Yep.
So those cards plus like the old Sonics rookie cards would be pretty cool. But I would have no interest in like the Warriors or like Nets Panini stuff.
Yep, sounds about right. Okay, so early Panini cards may be in play. Do you have a Kevin Durant Grail? Like just the one card of all cards for KD that you would just be like, if I could only have one KD card, this is the one I'd want.
His 2012 Prism Gold is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's a badass card.
That's a pretty sweet.
Luber owns all the KD grails.
He's Luber. Yeah, Josh Luber posted a ton of KD Prism Blacks. Yeah.
What do you think of the KD trade? And then I'll do the Kyrie response after you go.
Okay, well, they became the odds-on favorite to win the Western Conference. They didn't surpass Boston, though. Boston's finals odds. But they did become the favorite to win the Western Conference. So I just think it's a crazy trade. It's totally a powered. The Eastern Conference had a nice run during part of the season where they might have been the better conference, but like that trade almost single-handedly shifts the balance of power back to the West. And all of a sudden, like you had a Western Conference that felt pretty open, and all of a sudden now it feels like the path to win the Western Conference is going to have to go through some of the best players to ever play basketball, no matter which way you want to look at it. So I think it's a devastating trade in terms of like the West just completely became a different scenario. I think the only thing that I'd worry about as a Phoenix fan is health. That's the thing that would concern me, is just making sure all three of my big stars and then also DeAndre Ayton are healthy for a playoff push. Otherwise, I don't think I can go against Vegas on this one. I think this move does make them the favorites. So it's a pretty sweet move.
Did you hear Simmons call it like the one of the biggest trades of the last decade? I think he said, and he called it the second biggest haul as well, next to the Paul George trade to the Clippers, because they did get 4 first-rounders. That's just a lot, and 2 young stars or wings.
Yeah, it was a haul for sure. I think the thing that makes that haul more palatable, though, is that Kevin Durant has 4 years left on his contract.
Right.
So, I mean, you're not taking – okay, so let's go over to Kyrie. Like, Kyrie is on an expiring contract.
Right.
You're not doing that where, like, Kevin Durant could leave this summer. You're going to be able to trade him if you don't want him anymore, but otherwise he's going to be there for almost half a decade. All right, so we had a few questions about Kyrie. Christina, are you listening as well?
Yeah.
All right, just go through these quickly. Ricky Puyido says, are you happy with Kyrie in Dallas? The card collector girl says, how are we feeling about Kyrie? Mostly 90s basketball card says, who lasts longer in Dallas, Chris and Christina or Kyrie? Okay, all right. And whose side PC is coming along faster, Kyrie or Durant? So, Christina, what do you say? Who's going to last longer in Dallas, me and you or Kyrie?
Well, like you said, Kyrie's expiring contract. Luka has 4 years left after this season, so it looks like Chris and Christina are the odds-on favorites.
Ooh, you guys like Dallas that much? Let's go.
Dallas is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We had our car burglarized for the second time. We didn't lose in our parking garage. Third time in Dallas, second time in the parking garage. We didn't lose our catalytic converter. Yeah, we didn't lose our catalytic converter, but somebody stole my Smirnoff vodka bottle out of the back of our.
But
I don't know why it was back there.
It had been there for like 3 years.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
like I hope they get alcohol poisoning.
I don't think alcohol works that way, but.
But like I hope they drink the whole handle like one night. But
You guys need like a alarm system on this thing. This orange car is just like attracting
it
people.
has an alarm system.
Who is targeting this orange box?
A 15-year-old car. Like, come on, people. They're like fucking Teslas and nice cars in that garage. We're literally the crappiest car there. But the reason I knew was because, okay, so the car's 15 years old. When I got into the car, on the passenger seat was handwritten directions that my mom had written out, like, of how to get to a library in Connecticut. And they took our owner's manual,
Okay,
like they cleared out the glove box. Like stupid shit they took.
It's not show and tell, but yes.
Obviously, I don't have the shit to show.
Bottom line is our car was burglarized. Okay, so that's the downside to Dallas is sometimes you get your catalytic converter stolen and other things. There you go. The car priority is Dusty. Okay, here's my quick take on Kyrie. It's very difficult to root for Kyrie as some of the not as a basketball player. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying like Kyrie as a polarizing spokesperson for ideas in society has, really put off a lot of people, myself included. And he's said some really damaging stuff and then didn't take the opportunity to graciously correct the record either. So it's really tough to root for him. But I will say that this is the reason why Mark Cuban fired Rick Carlisle and Donnie Nelson and Haralabob Vulgaris. And this is the reason why he hired Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd. It wasn't because these guys were coaching geniuses or anything like that. It was because they would have the pull and the influence and the relationships to bring a true second superstar to Dallas. And because of a perfect storm of events in Brooklyn, they were able to do it. So Mark Cuban's gamble on hiring that duo has paid off. This is the best case scenario is that you literally get, whether you're looking at advanced stuff or just the fact that he's a all-star starter, one of the 10, arguably 10 best players in the NBA. That's why you do it, is to bring him in. So they did it, and now we wait and see. Like Bill Simmons said, give it 4 weeks. You're going to love him for 4 weeks, and then, So that's what we'll do.
Well, was this the first game they won without Luka playing? It seems like every time Luka plays, they lose by 20, and he didn't play, and they won because Kyrie was pretty good.
Kyrie was good. They beat the Clippers on the road. That was Kyrie's first game, which is like very impressive win. And now they're beating the Kings by 20 on the road as well.
There you
go. I mean, the basketball upgrade is obvious right now. This is a huge basketball upgrade. But I don't think basketball was ever the word.
It's getting him to play basketball is the issue.
Yeah, and in defense of Kyrie, I can just tell from the way he plays and watching him, he's like a conscientious person. He's very much a thinker type of person, but that type of personality can just get out of control sometimes, right? So that may be what kind of happened with Kyrie at different points. But I do think that he's a really good basketball player.
He also just seems super happy.
He does seem happy for now. Yes. Yes, he is. All right,
biggest winner. Wait, hold on. Before we finish the trade deadline, I just want to say biggest winner of the draft. or of the trade. Sorry, the biggest winner of the trade deadline is the Eastern Conference because their path just got super smooth.
Fair. Any other trades you want to talk about before we move on?
The Lakers ones were pretty interesting. They were probably the third most interesting of the bunch, right? I'd probably go Suns, Mavs, Lakers.
D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley.
Yeah. They added some depth.
Russell's been doing 50-40-90 since December 1st.
Yeah, I know. He was so bad in the playoffs last year, dude. He was horrible. We were talking shit about him all playoffs last year. Remember that? He was just like,
you recall.
He was like floating around the court, and he just bricked everything. I mean, obviously, I hope he plays okay, but I don't know. I've never been a big fan of his.
True.
He's more efficient than Westbrook, but that's not saying that much.
And
Pat Bev's gone. That's the best trade. Fuck Pat Bev's. Dude, get that guy out of here. He sucks. I hate Pat Bev.
Yeah. That's addition by subtraction, getting rid of Pat Beverly. Yeah, sending Thomas Bryant to Denver is a questionable move because Thomas Bryant is good for it's good for the Nuggets, but that's the one thing the Nuggets have never had is like this backup center.
Oh, you have DeAndre Jordan. You never have to see that guy again. He's the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
The person who lost the trade was Scottie Pippen Jr. because Malik Beasley is now on his team, and Malik Beasley used to date the kid's mom.
Wait, did you see that on a reel, perhaps?
Yeah.
Yep. Christina's been going down so many reel holes. It's getting worse.
No.
It is getting
No. We had a chat last week. It's worse?
Yeah.
It's got worse.
Also, I had a lot of sympathy messages and DMs and stuff about that reel segment, just kind of saying like, I go through those reel holes as well, and it's just not good for anybody.
It's a real problem.
Okay, all right. That's our cue to move on. All right, Mick Wildcat says, "Hi, I'm the buy it now button. Please stop smashing me. I don't like to be touched like that. A gentle tap will suffice." So, I guess we're not smashing the bin anymore. We're tapping it.
Fuck that. Smash that bin.
Tap the bin. I'm writing that down as a potential title here.
Tap the bin. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo.
Tap the bin. All right. It's KQ says, is the market trending up? I'm gonna assume that I know this commenter is always participating in the show, so I'm gonna assume that they know how to look at indexes on Card Ladder and answer that question using numbers if they wanted to. But how about let's put the indexes aside. We have the numbers. Let's just answer this question from our personal point of view. The players we collect, the aspects of the hobby that we follow. In your experience, would you be willing to say the market is trending up, or is it trending down, or staying flat?
It's trending up on some of the specific stuff that I collect, but very slightly.
Yeah. My experience is pretty similar. Mostly, I know a couple things I noticed that doesn't necessarily show up in an index is the supply in terms of number of cards that are being submitted to auction this year is down. Way down, half of what it was. If we're talking the high end stuff, it's half of what it was at the end of last year. So supply is dropping off a cliff, and I think that's only going to continue to drop off a cliff as long as prices flatline or trend down.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about that? People were asking, when is this going to stop? And we said, when people are no longer willing to take these losses from a year prior, it's going to hit that threshold where it's I'm going to stop selling now because it's no longer worth it. I'd rather take the risk and hold it and wait to see if it go back up.
Exactly. Yeah, and then momentum plays a big factor in that because once people kind of get used to enjoying their cards rather than feeling the pressure of sending them in to sell, that can build up inertia. It can lead to people just saying, yeah, I'm not in a rush to sell anymore. I'm just not. So that's what I'd be looking at is how many cards continue to come to auction. And right now that number is down by a ton. All right. Ben, cross country runner, 1, has a longer question for us. When it comes to modern and ultra modern, is too much emphasis put on the grade? For example, using Card Ladder, you can see that a 97 Jordan Jambalaya and a 9.5 sold for 47 grand recently, and this is more than double of a lower grade. And the 9.5 actually sold for more than triple of the BGS 8 that sold just a few weeks before the 9.5. When I look at pictures of these 3 actual cards, I couldn't even tell you what is different about them. In vintage, we see more emphasis on actual eye appeal. Do you think this will eventually carry over to modern and ultra modern? And most importantly, are people being duped into overpaying on these higher graded cards in which the naked eye couldn't even tell the difference from a lower grade?
Well, on that Jordan Jambalaya, for example, I believe there's like a couple hundred in the pop report, right? Or maybe is it that high? Maybe like a couple hundred total across the 2 grading companies.
Well, give me 2 seconds and I can tell you the answer to that.
You like that soft lob I just gave you for
That was nice.
Card Ladder Marketing plus?
Now Card Ladder has the pop report for all the grading companies, and I can tell you that the Jambalaya has a total population of 153.
Okay. So with that, the reason I brought that up is like 153 is not, it's not a gold prism, it's not a black 1 of 1, something like that. So when you get to something with that many copies of a card as a collector, it's still a really popular, sought after card. It's a really beautiful card. It's, it brings back a lot of memories of the 90s. It's got a unique design. People really want the card. And in order to distinguish yourself from other collectors who might have that card, we look to the grade condition. And we trust our grading companies for that. And so people are willing to pay big premiums. I feel like you're going to agree with me on this, but like this condition thing, these prices that we see they all make sense to me. Like that's just the way the market's decided it's going to go.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And in the hobby and in collectibles in general, collectors are always looking for ways to show how their card is better than the other one. That's just part of the competition. It's part of the stratification of markets. It's part of the hierarchy of collectibles. It's like finding out and figuring out ways that one thing is better than another. And like this originates from, as I think Ben rightly points out, older eras of cards where the only way you can distinguish them, you don't have parallels or much variety. Just the only way you can distinguish them is like how well centered is it? How sharp are the corners? How sharp are the edges? And so on. How does the registration look? Is everything in focus properly? And it's not a perfect carryover to modern and ultra modern because, kind of like Ben points out, like the need for it isn't as strong because you have variety in other ways. But when you have like I think like you spelled out, when you have a really desired card that means a lot to people, but there's a few hundred of them floating around, collectors are going to want to be able to say they got their hands on the best one. And there's no 1 of 1, there's no gold parallel. So condition is the next way that we're going to go about it.
The PSA 9, 2009 LeBron that I recently acquired, to finish my gold chrome.
Yep.
I paid 20 grand for that. And I had an open offer to the owner of the PSA 10 for 50 grand. So you take that for what you want.
Yeah. There you go.
I was willing to pay more than double for the 10. I think my 9 is perfectly centered. The edges the corners on the back have white on like 3 of the 4 corners. I'll pay 30 grand and not have white on 3 corners. Of course it's ridiculous. We're collecting sports cards. Like if you really want to get it down to that level, it's all kind of ridiculous. But I wanted 10. Excuse me. I have a lot of PSA 10 golds and I wanted to add to it. So
yeah, I'm writing down. It's all kind of ridiculous. We're collecting sports cards.
Yeah, come on. We draw the line at like, the 9s versus the 10s or the 9.5 undervalued versus the 10. That's where we decide to draw the line, it seems like.
I just like that because it's a good reminder, too, is like we can get so, like, once you go so far down this card rabbit hole, sometimes, like, it's nice to come back up for air and just realize we're doing something, like, super unserious, even though we take it very seriously. But like collecting. That's the beauty of collecting cards, is that it's so unserious.
Yeah.
But we take it so seriously at the
I
same
think that's
time.
why this is a bit of a side rant, but you'll enjoy it. I think that's why we've been kind of turned off to the whole, investor liquidity vaulting thing. Is like it's just made it so much more serious. Like we have to almost be like wearing suit and ties when we're talking about sports cards, and it's like I got into this to get away from like the business side of the world, right? I have a job already, and I deal with stuff like this, and so to go to cards where it is kind of meant to be a little bit, I don't want to say silly. It's not silly, but not serious.
That's such a okay. All right, I'm gonna make this pledge right now, in front of all. I will never put on a suit and tie for sports.
You never put on socks for sports?
Yeah, I can barely put on socks.
You barely put on real pants. Like, when was the last time you put on real pants?
It's been a while.
You could have ended that sentence before sports cards too. Do they make lawyers wear a suit and tie?
Do they? Normally, yeah. Like if you go into a courtroom or something, yeah. But the firm that I worked at, because like LA has a very relaxed law culture. At the firm I worked at, I would be wearing the same clothes I wear today. Like that was one of the perks of it, was that you don't. There's no dress code. Yeah. So there's no dress code.
To the bankruptcy court, I had to fucking press your suit and shirt every
There was a summer where I wore one of 3 different suits that I had every day for a whole summer.
Wow.
So that
I can't even imagine that, but it sounds amazing.
awful.
Not for you. I had one job. I was in college and it was like a summer job, and I had to wear button-down long sleeves and slacks every day, and it was, God, I hated it so much. I hate that.
Oh, like khakis or something,
This is a
basically.
boss's job. It's like I only see 5-6 people all day. Why do you care what I wear?
Oh my god, office jobs are the worst. They always care what you
You
wear.
had an office job where you had to look semi-presentable.
Yeah, but it quickly, my boss quickly realized that was not going to last when I started wearing sneakers with my dresses.
Christina took control quickly.
Exactly.
Set the expectations.
Like, do you want me to work hard or dress nice? You pick. You get one.
Yep.
Exactly.
Easy choice.
You could have nice shoes or you could have a nice outfit.
Yeah. All right. Grail Card Quest says, do you have any comments on the Diamondbacks collection book? Have you looked through it? Do you know much about this book? Because I didn't until the question came in and I looked it up.
It comes with the PSA Collectors Club, doesn't it?
I think that's right.
But I don't know what it is. No, I have no clue.
Well, this is from Tom Zapala Media. A treasure that all sports fans and collectors will enjoy. The Diamondbacks collection. There's even a fancy quote from Nat somewhere. Let's see here. Here it is. Nat Turner, CEO of Collectors. The Diamondbacks collection is one of the legendary collections that has been discussed for years in the hobby, and now collectors have the opportunity to enjoy it via a book, basically. So it's a book that demonstrates what's it? God, I can't believe I was going to butcher his name. Ken Kendrick. For some reason, I always say Kendrickson, but that's not it. Ken Kendrick's collection, which, so we have a quote here from Joe Orlando that says, Joe Orlando discusses the nuances and intricacies of every card in the collection and analyzes why Kendrick's collection is the most important in the hobby. So this book is documenting and celebrating what is considered to be the best collection ever assembled. So there you go. Just want to give a shout out to that book because I think it's pretty cool that people are doing that for collections.
We're working on a Nike sponsorship over here.
Nike.
We're shooting high. I mean, we can't get fucking Red Baron to respond to us. We might as well just go the opposite and go all the way to the top.
Dude, that maybe is what we've been doing wrong. We've been aiming too low. Like, Red Baron might have checked it out and been like, we're not in the same class as these guys. Like, we shouldn't even reply to this. We should have.
I think we have more followers. All 3 of us have more followers than Tombstone Pizza. I checked. They have like 2,000 followers.
That just proves it. We've been selling ourselves short. We're going straight to Nike. Nike doesn't have any NFTs, do they?
What?
Nike doesn't have any NFTs, do they?
Probably. They probably. I don't think they do, but it seems like they would.
You know that technically Chris and I own NFTs?
Why are you saying this?
The stupid packs.
No, because every game, after every home game, the Mavs send us like an email that says like, click here to accept your NFT for going to the game.
Well,
can't you burn those things or whatever, or light them on fire? What's that stupid thing?
that's actually our retirement. That's our 401k.
Yeah.
Is these Mavs ticket NFTs.
Used. That was my least favorite take on that when Gary Vee was like, you could sell plane tickets after the fact. I was like, I assure you, I don't want Lamim's Spirit Airlines used ticket to get in the national. You know, like that's something that I never would want.
Oh man, that's really funny. All right. Since this was brought up in the chat, I might as well go to the question that we have about it. Lauren Goes Here says, not specifically card related, but have you watched the trailer for Air yet? And so Air is a Ben Affleck directed movie about Nike. And
specifically about the recruiting of Jordan.
The recruiting of Jordan and the marketing of those early Nike and Air Jordan shoes. And it comes
I'm going to watch the shit out of that movie.
Comes out April 5th. So start investing in those Jordans now.
It's going to be awesome though, right?
Dude, I mean, if a movie with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and Chris Tucker and all these guys is bad, you know, Hollywood, it ain't looking good for Hollywood in general.
Who's playing MJ?
I don't know who plays MJ.
I
don't even know if
Michael
MJ
Jordan
really shows up in this movie.
I hope it's Michael B. Jordan.
That would fit, right?
They did that in Space Jam.
That would fit. Yeah, it should be a cool movie. I mean, I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about it again after the movie actually comes out. So I know the hobby doesn't give a shit about the movie. The hobby just wants to know how this is going to make everybody rich. But
yeah, dude. Yeah, all the Anthony Edwards cards and Juan Herman Gomez cards went to the moon after that movie, right? I don't think so. Haven't we learned? When are we going to learn? When are we going to stop? The LeBron cards did not triple. Everyone alert. They didn't even go up, and he broke the fucking record. So, one of the most insane records of all time. He broke it. Nobody cares about that with cards. It's not a thing.
Well, that's what I love about Lauren's question. Lauren's question specifically said, not card related, but
yes.
If you looked at it for the movie.
Good.
Nicely done, Lauren. All right. Kobe 8123 1996 13 says, all right, I'm writing that down, Steph. This gentleman is also known as Mohammed. He says, I was sniped on 15 cards this past week. Damn, Mohammed, 15. You're 0 for 15, bro? That's like a Tim Hardaway Jr. stat line. He says, how do you get over losing in such a fashion? 15?
You need to start bidding on more auctions. You got to up those numbers.
Yeah, exactly, man. You gotta come a little bit stronger, man. If you're losing every time. Okay, we're not gonna pause. Cam Thomas just got fined, not for pause, but
he said something else.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you say, Josh? He's got to up his bids.
He's got to bid on more items. Did we know he's 0 for 15? What if he's like 30 for 45 and he won 30? We don't even know the other end of that.
That's correct. Look, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say you need to bid on less items and bid stronger on those few. Pick just one or two that you actually really want and make sure you win.
I like that.
I mean, we have a whole Pac Nicholson added a new
1 in 15. He says he's 1 in 15. Thank
1
you.
in 15.
Thank you, Mom. That's brutal.
Pac Nicholson added to the hobby lexicon the phrase megabid for exactly this reason. Get a megabid ready and take down a card, but remember the restrictions. Don't get too crazy on your megabid. All right. Thank you for the question, Mohammed.
Well, we gone 47 minutes without talking about LeBron breaking the scoring record. I can't let you get away with this.
Look, there is a question about LeBron coming in a few, but nobody brought in a question about that.
This is what I'm saying, though. This is the point. We already knew he was going to break it. It was just like this one game happened to be the night he did it. It's like this price is already baked into it.
True. And I think Lamim had a story post, something to the effect of consoling all those people who had tickets to the Bucks game. the following game. When he broke, because like, you can't really bank on somebody getting 36 points, So, I mean, it wasn't unreasonable to think it would happen against the Bucks, especially because that was Kareem's old team. But
Josh, what's up with Anthony Davis?
You mean like the sitting down thing?
Yeah.
I have no idea. He was like being a baby the whole game. He was like moping around, playing like a zombie.
He did an interview and he was like, "We were losing. Like, it's not about me and LeBron, it's about the team." And like we were losing. But it wouldn't have been that hard to just stand up and clap.
Did you see this in a reel?
No, he did. He sat down like the second he shot the ball. It was super awkward.
I saw it too, but I'm just wondering, did you see a reel that showed this? Or
where else would I have seen it?
Okay, so
I don't watch TV.
Our content is just coming from reels.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
The reel was a presser of like.
I've seen the reels as well. I've been watching way too many reels.
Did you listen to the Simmons pod about this game?
Yeah, I did.
I liked his take on it. His take was basically like, LeBron's been playing one way for 20 years, and for this one game, he went into this totally different style of play where it was like very apparent he was not focused on winning the game, and he was going for this record. He wanted to get it over with. Everyone showed up for this game to see him break it in this game, and he played different, and I could tell as well. Like it seemed weird. Like he usually he passes more. He didn't take that many shots, but you could tell he was just more like scoring mode focused than he was. So maybe it was some of that. Maybe Davis was like, "This is weird. This is clearly I'm not supposed to be a part of this game. I'll just sort of like lie in the back and wait."
First of all, LeBron still won his minutes. He was a +8 in his minutes. Second of all, it's weird to think about, like, what if Jay-Z and Denzel Washington and Phil Knight and 100 other A-list celebrities were just standing behind you right now, watching you do the crossover to, like, break a record? It would be very weird. It would be very awkward. Are they back? It would be very awkward and weird to do that. So I just think like that whole environment created a pressure on that game to just be like, just get this over with, so that give the people what they came to see. Because like it would be pretty dumb if it didn't happen, considering like it seemed scripted. Oh no, it seemed preordained that like this is the game. All the people have the tickets to this game. This is the game. So
yeah, I mean, I have that thought on LeBron in general, where he's like the most criticized athlete. He basically like his whole career came through the social media era, and he's got this whole Sports Illustrated as a kid. He called himself the chosen one and the king. Like he's had this build up for 20 years, and every single thing he says, people are nitpicking it and picking everything he says apart. So like now to get to this point where even more people are watching, and like you said, all these celebrities are here, we can't know really how anyone would react. And so for him to want to just kind of get this scoring thing over with, it felt pretty natural to me during the game watching it. The fans were literally like booing every time Westbrook shot the ball. Like, give it to LeBron. Like, the fans were all behind it as well. So I don't know. It turned out fine. The Davis thing is weird though. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah. The Dave thing's a little weird, but, he said what he said. He said he was focused on winning or losing the game, which can't be mad at a guy for that, I guess.
Then he should have won the next game against the Bucks. He didn't play great in that game either.
True. This is the photo right before it goes in. But a lot of people point out, which is just this is
Phil Knight
player that the Lakers. This is Thomas Bryant, who the Lakers ended up trading, posting up and calling for the ball as the shot is launching. So that
and Westbrook passed it to him. The last person to touch it before LeBron was Westbrook, and that was his last game. And Thomas Bryant, that was his last game there too. I was focused on I saw people talking about Phil Knight, how he didn't have his phone out, and like literally everybody else did. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, although I did hear later that that's because Phil Knight doesn't know how to use a phone.
Yeah, he's an older guy.
Okay, and let's read a comment from one of the people who narrated the entire night, Adam Lefkoe. He says, "It made me realize that LeBron's career mimicked Kareem more than Jordan or even Magic. Sheer domination and incredible longevity and willingness to take the unpopular stance and even get eviscerated for it."
Now read the second quote.
Parentheses. Kareem's obviously more impactful, but a different era.
Yeah, he's talking about the whole
stances and stuff,
civil rights era and stuff. Yeah.
So what do you think about that? That is similar to what you were saying, I think.
Well, I was pretty annoyed that the outcome of that game was like, oh, Jordan or LeBron. It's like, gotta be are you shitting me? Like, this is like the worst time to compare these two guys, in my opinion, because we're talking about longevity and we're talking about something that Michael Jordan never knew he was going up against. When Michael Jordan retired and made his last basket, LeBron had 0 points. Like, he didn't know that that was never his intention, was to like go and break the scoring record and hang on to it. We're comparing things that have nothing to do with each other. We're just talking about LeBron's longevity versus Kareem's, which is a much better comparison here. So yeah, that's a good comparison. And I've always thought, this is not uncommon either, but like LeBron's game is more similar to Magic Johnson. Kobe's more like MJ in terms of like their style of play. So yeah, I mean, I'm tired of. I can't believe. I mean, I believe it because it's sports media. Whoa, does this make LeBron better than Jordan? Yeah, that one basket that put him at an arbitrarily 2 points higher number. That's the one that made him the GOAT. Like, come on, that's ridiculous.
Fair. As a collector of LeBron cards, not just you, but other LeBron collectors that you know as well, what was the reaction to, what's one of the best payoffs of being a fan of a player, especially a player who's, in year 20? What was the sense among LeBron collectors?
Probably like relief that this little segment is over. And, we were excited. One of the guys in our chat was at the game, and he was kind of giving us some of the down low of what was going on, and that was kind of fun. We were all just kind of counting down as he was making shots and getting fired up about. He had a little streak there where he had like 2 and 1s, and then he hit a 3, and it kind of was like building up that he was going to do it. So we were excited. But yeah, like now we can kind of focus on the season again. Try to win some games and make the damn playoffs at this point.
Nat also was courtside at the game. I'm sure that was not easy to pull off. He not only was he courtside, but he got some photos while he was at the game that he played.
The video of LeBron like running over towards his area.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Okay, I think this is the video.
Yeah, this is the one. Is Westbrook the last one to touch it? Was that right?
Yep.
Westbrook, he like hands it off to LeBron. Yeah.
Yep, and he just clears out, and everybody kind of knows what's happening.
Except Thomas Bryant.
Except Thomas Bryant, yeah. Yeah, and then this is taken from Nat's phone. All card values went up 10% as a result of Nat filming this.
Did you notice anything in the sales after this game?
I mean, no, I really didn't. In fact, Golden had some LeBron's end in its auction that did not do very well. But Stiff made a post that showed the LeBrons that were doing well. And, it's interesting because if you really think about it, these are the cards that you would think would see like a short-term impact. So like the ones, the largest gainer over the last month, these are 1 month percentage changes, is the 03 Topps first edition PSA 10. You've got the Ultimate Collection out of 250, the Topps Chrome Refractor PSA 10, and Topps Chrome Base PSA 10. And then, this one is up 3%, which is maybe more of a rounding error. But the Chalk Toss Topps Chrome Gold BGS 95. So those cards are up. I mean, 32% in a month is a lot. So, yeah. All right. We have a question from Vinny Slabarino, who starts off with, always enjoyed the show. PSA seems to have switched from USPS to FedEx. FedEx. How do you guys like to pronounce FedEx?
Oh my God.
Is the emphasis on the first syllable or the second?
FedEx.
FedEx?
FedEx.
FedEx.
What you just said is so wrong. Don't ever say that other one again.
Which one? Which one do you like? Which one do you like, Josh? Which one is it?
FedEx.
FedEx.
Yes.
Now say it your way.
FedEx.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
God. It's awesome.
God.
Yeah, it's got like a FedEx. Okay, from USPS to FedEx. FedEx for shipping its grading orders. Do you think this was done to reduce the number of PSA orders being stolen by USPS? Is there any data on this? Thanks, Vinny. I don't know anything about this topic, so
I didn't
bail us out.
know that. Well, I just had mine today was, I guess it was FedEx. I didn't really notice. But I'm glad FedEx is better. I've never had a single issue with FedEx. I've had several with USPS, so there you go.
Yeah, I think FedEx is the standard setter.
Anything but UPS ground.
Right, exactly. Okay, Throwback Sports Cards says, what is the best way to manage a growing collection? And I'm not really sure what he means by manage, so take that as you will.
Maybe he's talking about like, to prevent it from kind of getting out of hand when you've got too many cards or something.
You can take it that way.
All right. Well, I'm always a big fan of consolidation. Once you have your eyes on a new card that you feel like is an upgrade over what you have, don't be afraid to sell off a pile of things to turn it into one kind of grail, as it were.
Totally, yeah. And I'm going to take it in a slightly different way. I'm going to take it as what's the best way to manage it? Like, what's the best way to store it, to keep track of it, and keep it organized is something that I think is extremely important no matter the size of the collection. It's satisfying and important to know where stuff is and how to get to it, and that it looks nice and presentable. And then the other part is, I'm with Josh. I prefer to go the consolidation route rather than just let the collection quantity get out of control. So because it's a smaller number, that lets me use something like Card Ladder's collection feature to scan in pictures of all my cards and then break them up into my different collections based on players. And that's a cool way to digitally manage it. And then I always put in the notes like who I bought it from, and like I just use it now as like it's my documentation of all the relevant information that I need. And because I'm documenting it at the time of purchase or close to it, it's effectively like I'm creating an invoice for it or something, or a purchase order for it. Like I'm documenting it as it's happening, which is relevant for a number of accounting related purposes potentially down the line.
Yeah, that's great. I used that a couple times this past week where I couldn't remember what I paid for it, and I didn't feel like, I didn't want to dig through freaking my eBay purchase history and all that. So just being able to see the purchase date and price. It's nice.
Definitely. Okay. Back to back here. This is 313 cards. Says big fan of the show. Let's go. From taking a page from the book of Vinny Slabarino.
All of you must start your questions with that from now on, or we don't read it.
He says, "What do you do with a player PC if they're no longer on your team and they don't have a long-standing legacy?" So, Christina, what would you do? If you think about it. Okay, you already have an answer. If Maxey gets traded from the Mavs, what would you do?
I would just sell my whole collection.
Whew. She would dump it all.
Unless he goes to the Nuggets, I can't do.
Or the Bulls, maybe.
No, I'm not a Bulls fan.
That's right. Yeah, that's fair. You don't have any hometown allegiance to any basketball teams. UConn women's
basketball.
So if he went back to college and played for UConn women's team,
I mean, according to the way the world's headed, he probably could.
Okay. That's a take for it. What would you do, Josh, if you sell? Just let it all go. Okay. Yeah, Alex says he sold all. So Alex is a Detroit Lions fan. Sold all his Matt Staffords when Stafford was traded. So.
I mean, it's an emotional hobby, and just lean into your emotion. If you no longer have any interest in that player because you can't root for them because they're on a team, what fun is it to be forced to hold it for some financial reason or some pride you have in, not looking weird to Instagram. It's just, those are not good reasons. Just sell it.
Yep. I think that's.
Yeah, unless you have an emotional attachment to the player.
Right.
Because
you've been collecting them a long time and you really like those cards.
Yeah. Well, look, this is a topic because 50 guys got traded at the deadline.
Well, you've got guys that you're more attached to the player. You end up rooting for the team because of the player, like McCaffrey and Jokic. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, 100%. My loyalty is to the player before the team in both of those instances. Yeah.
What about the Mavs?
No, it's all about Luka.
It is, but when you've rooted for a team for 5 years, you do like the players.
Yeah, but if Luka demanded a trade and was in I don't know.
Yeah, but you're making it black and white. All I'm saying is there is a gray. There is a gray that says I've come to like the players that are on the Mavs.
Yeah, but I like Joe, but I'm not rooting for the Nets now.
And I have become a Jalen Brunson hater because he left, and I actively root against him.
I actively root against the Knicks at all times, so.
Okay, you don't have to one-up my hatred.
I do.
I'm hating on you one-upping my hatred.
You hate on, yeah, you should have just stopped at you, because that was obvious.
Look, and I do miss Dorian Finney-Smith. Spencer Dinwiddie, not as much. He wasn't on the team for as long, but I've rooted for Dorian Finney-Smith for 5 years, It's you, and there are some guys who I know who collect Dorian Finney-Smith, so it's shitty. It's really shitty.
Why couldn't they get rid of Reggie Bullock, or however you say it? Reggie Bullock. Why couldn't they get rid of him instead of Finney-Smith?
that would have made everybody in Dallas happier if we could have kept. But the irony of it is this, Josh. Kevin Durant was a big reason why they brought Dorian Finney-Smith back to Brooklyn and why they made him part of the deal is because Kevin Durant has always really liked Dorian Finney-Smith, always said nice stuff about him, and then Durant is gone.
Yeah, Durant looked around the roster and was like, "Yeah, get me out of here."
So it's we didn't even really need to give up him, I don't think. But,
yeah, that sucks. The Nets are kind of Nets. I know they traded their two best players or whatever, but they got some pretty decent picks. They got some decent young players coming back. They're not the worst team ever. They're kind of interesting.
No, they're not the worst team ever, right? Yeah. Well, all right. We had a question about Cam Thomas. So let me see.
Oh gosh. He's better than Kevin Durant. Did you know this? He beat him in a pickup game or whatever, or a one-on-one game.
This question says, I have 4 Cam Thomas Prism Silvers. Can I retire? I'm just joking. That's not
You might want to sell now, though.
yeah. Okay. This is from Grail Card Quest. He says, based on Cam Thomas's last 4 game scoring trend, and assuming he plays 82 games every season, he will break LeBron's scoring record in 12 years. Hashtag undervalued. Rocket emoji, money bag emoji, chart going up emoji.
You know what this reminds me of? Anthony Simons.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like this is only happening because the superstars around him aren't playing, or they got traded, or they're injured, or whatever.
Yep.
And it's fun for now, a couple months of excitement, but the prices will go back down.
Yes, so Cam Thomas did have 3 straight 40-point games, which is crazy, mind-blowing. Sadiq Bey had a 50-point game last year.
He just got traded.
He just got traded. And, if you look beyond those 3 40-point games, look, I know everybody doesn't love advanced statistics, but Cam Thomas had like a wildly negative box plus minus, a wildly negative value over replacement player, and a negative win share, which is like, the 3-headed statistical bearer of death. Now, 3 40-point games is super impressive, but like, if you want to balance, if you're feeling too optimistic and you want to balance it out a little bit, go to his basketball reference page and go down to the advanced tab.
You mean scoring isn't the only thing that matters in basketball?
Right. And not only not just scoring, but over 3 games scoring. But
how many shots did he take in those 3 games?
I did get to watch Cam Thomas in person, and I thought he was good. My takeaway was like, who is that guy? I went and looked up his cards even. Saw that his Prism Black I saw that his Prism Black was on eBay for $20,000 OBO, PSA 8. And then it got, after like the 40-point game thing started happening, it just got taken down. And then a group of owners bought the card. I saw it because it was promoted across all my Instagram feeds, like promoted posts from all the different guys who own this card. And the card is available. They are generous enough to make it available.
Wow.
At the Burbank card show this weekend. So
a group of people who buy a card together don't all want to share it as collectors together? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, would they use USPS or FedEx when they're sending it back and forth every month? You have
coming to a vault in Golden near you.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if it remember when Mac Jones's Prism Black?
The kid was the winner of that whole thing.
Oh my God! It kept getting flipped over, and then it got a PSA 10, and then I don't know. I think the highest price that ended up getting paid on that card was $175,000. So, I don't know. We'll probably see that card change hands once or twice. More. Perhaps. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for the question, Grail Card Quest. Okay. PLB Cards says, when a patch or a relic says player worn or player used, what do you think it was actually used for?
It was, what do you mean? It was used to be able to stick into that card you have.
No, I mean, what did the player use it for? What did the player...
Oh, he just probably threw it on at an event and took it right off.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I don't know if you guys know about this or not, but there's something called the Prism Players Lounge. And this is happening right in Josh's backyard for Super Bowl weekend. And shout out to our friend Pat Geek, who probably is on site for this.
Yes.
Yeah, so look, this is the Prism Players Lounge, all right? This is going down in Arizona, the Prism Players Lounge. You got cornhole, you got shoes, you got Brock Purdy, you got I think Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Kirk Cousins.
Trevon Diggs, Micah Parsons.
Trevon Diggs was there. Breece Hall was there. All right. So they probably just go in a back room for a little while and just put on 80 jerseys at once and then take them all off. And now they have been.
Got to be in the caption title. Write down Prism back room. Panini back room. Panini back room.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just want to know, how do I get invited to the? Do I not have enough credentials as a Prism simp to get into?
Do they even know what prisms you have? Maybe if you showed them your prisms.
Maybe if I just maybe I came and visited you.
I don't know about you, but I got invited.
Maybe. See, because you're using our Prism bona fides.
I got invited multiple times.
Maybe I show up. I just maybe see if a McCaffrey Prism Black can get me in. We'll start low.
Yeah, why aren't you guys here? The Super Bowl's here this weekend. You know that, right?
I forgot the Super Bowl's even a thing. I'm in NBA mode. I've been in NBA mode for months though.
Yeah,
I got invited based off of my Maxi Kleba Prism Blacks.
Yeah, thank you for stepping on my bit. Right in the middle of my bit. All right.
I thought she was going to say all my connections with all the industry leaders at Panini.
Well, that too.
Well, anyway. I didn't know that the Panini Prism Players Lounge was a thing.
That just is a lot of words you said there. A lot of words.
Let's get all right. Ben the Card Guy has a hypothetical for you, Josh. If Josh met LeBron and LeBron was totally a rude jerk, how would this impact his LeBron collecting?
Damn it. That's a hard question. I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't want to give an answer on this question. I give up.
Look, this hypothetical never has to become true because you can just choose to never meet him.
Yeah, Chris's is like, that would make it better. I would love to know that he's a jerk. Because then I'll know, then I've learned never to meet an athlete ever again. I don't think it would change. It wouldn't change much. Unless he was like really like directly very quite mean. Is it like he's brushing me off or is he like really going out of his way to attack me? It's like, all right, well, maybe this is getting a little weird, LeBron. You don't need to like go that far.
He makes fun of you for collecting his cards.
Oh, see, that's fine. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah, that's a totally valid question, though, because like if LeBron was like, yo, I saw you trying to get that Red Baron sponsorship, you're a fucking clown, Like, if he started going like that, that might get a little personal, Then it's like, all right, well, fuck you then. But if it's just like that's what this question is leaving out, is that like this question is only thinking of it from one point of view. Our point of view is collectors, but what about the athlete's point of view? The athletes don't want to meet us, so like, why?
Why not? Who doesn't want to meet the guy that owns this piece of plastic wrapped around a cardboard card?
John, what's so funny about this is like, if you had like thousands or tens of thousands of collectors like collecting Cardboard Chronicles cards, like you wouldn't want to meet those MMers.
No, definitely not.
I know you would.
You know me well. I would not want to meet him. No, that's what I'm saying. Like if he just kind of brushed me off, or he's like, yeah, whatever, and ignored me, that's fine. But if he was like, you're fucking ugly, you're stupid, I've seen your show, it's trash, I don't know, just give up on your life and just stop making this content. You're a piece of crap. Right. You're just a garbage person. I'd be like, all right, well, that's kind of mean. Jeez.
So, yeah. All right, get Golden on the phone.
That's where he draws the line.
A LeBron
collection. Look at what Stiff said. Stiff said, I might like him more if they just roasted me unprovoked.
That's true, too. That's a decent pivot, too. It's like if they just started cooking me, like.
You'd be like, damn, I got in your head there, bro. Look at this. I'm in your head. You're thinking about me that much?
Yeah, that's kind of funny, too. All right. I don't know. So basically, it could go a lot of different ways, Ben. We need more details.
I just can't see any of these. Obviously, none of these scenarios are going to play out, but, like, the one that he would actually have to do for me to stop collecting him is, like, really weird. He'd have to really kind of attack me personally, and that's just not going to happen.
Fair. All right. Relentless Daggers 230824 says, if I were to move to one state specifically for cards, card shows, and the hobby community, which one state would you recommend? It can only be one state.
I'm picturing an athlete just like roasting a kid now. That'll get him out of
The
collecting.
kid reporter, Panini's kid reporter, just getting roasted by Mahomes.
He's like, will you just shut the fuck up and get out of my way, kid? He's like, damn. What state? I've always thought Illinois because like the whole Jordan thing. They always had all the shows there. When I first started collecting, they had the Dallas show before Dallas, which was the like quarterly Chicago show, and then they obviously have the national there a lot. So I'd probably say Illinois.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Atlantic City. No, I'm kidding.
Jesus.
I don't know, man. It's spread out. It's so spread out because like you've got cool stuff going on in a lot of different places. Like there isn't one place that's just like so overwhelmingly better. I really like the Southern California card scene. If I'm just being completely honest,
I do too.
it was great. Like the local card shop crew. But the downside to Southern California is there's like no shows.
Well, the downside of Southern California is it's Southern California.
Isn't there a show there right now?
There's one. No, it's actually in Canada. It's in Ontario, Canada. From what I was.
Burbank is in Ontario?
Yeah. Oh, there's an Ontario, California.
Burbank's definitely in California.
Yeah, no, they are having a show in Ontario, California, and I don't know. I haven't heard or seen much about it. But when we lived there were very few shows.
There was the Long Beach Expo.
There's
a coin show that had like 10 tables that were cards.
Yeah.
And they were the same dealers every time.
Yeah. And then they had, you had the swap meet.
Frank and
Sons, but not much.
Frank and Sons to me felt more like a hobby shop than a show. Yeah. Because people didn't come in for it. It was just locals.
Okay. I know Dr. Beckett has recorded podcasts saying he strongly believes it's Dallas, Texas. I'm voting.
That's a good answer.
I'm voting LA as my because like maybe it's just because we were in a different phase of our lives or something, but I loved the card show community or the card community.
Good job.
In LA.
Look, we got 3 distinct answers. I was going to say Connecticut because of their pizza. Did you see that?
Frank and Son show has been popping off. I've been hearing Connecticut.
Did you see that Portnoy's in Arizona for the Super Bowl, and he did a pizza review on the lamest, most boring place in all of Arizona for pizza, which everyone goes to, and it's so overrated and cliche.
Wait, what's it called?
Pizzeria Bianco, which had a Netflix documentary, and people are touting it as like the best pizza in the world, which is so ridiculous. It's just regular like Neapolitan pizza to me. I've had it. It's fine. Like there's always lines.
Arguing about that place on Clubhouse.
Yeah, because if anybody says anything about a slice of pizza that didn't come from Modern in New Haven, you're the biggest hater ever born.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right, but look, we had a question about this. All right.
Well, I'm just offended he didn't reach out to me and say, "Where should I go?"
He should have. He should have. Once again, though, maybe he saw our podcast and he just says, these guys were too busy for Dave. So I can't.
Well, doesn't he know that I have to respond to DMs? He should know this.
That's true. That's true. He would know that. He would know that even he would have to reply to even him. Okay. We had a question from Catalyst Cards that was on this very topic. He said, all this talk of pizza, has Josh ever tried Pizzeria Bianco? He's got one of the top pizza restaurants in the country there in Phoenix, but I haven't heard him mention it. So he's trying to pizza shop shame you, but you preemptively pizza shop shamed him by pointing out that this is just the mainstream hype. You know, look, we go to Hole in the Wall. We like Elliott's in Dallas. But what do you want to say to this guy?
It's hype. It's overrated. I mean, Dave Portnoy gave it a 7.3, which is like pretty average, pretty like whatever. Like he's like, I really wanted to give it lower, but you could tell he wanted to give it lower, but because of like everyone kind of hyping him up on it, the Netflix documentary, they made him like eat it there. He always gets it in a box to go, and they're like, we don't do that here. You have to sit and eat it. Like, okay.
Yeah. So have you been there before?
Yes, I've been there twice. It's very pretentious. No thanks. I'd rather have what?
Do they do takeout?
No, they make you sit there and eat it.
Okay, a pizza shop that doesn't do takeout is like a restaurant. It's not a pizza shop.
Yeah, it is definitely, the pizza itself is more restaurant style too. Like it's got like the green like leaves on it, and it's just more like a restaurant.
Green leaves, also known as lettuce?
Yeah, he like Portnoy like picked them off and like threw them. He's like, I don't want. I think they're like basil leaves or whatever.
Oh, damn. Okay, so they're all right. I'm starting to understand. What's it like on the inside of this place?
It's just like an old brick building in downtown Phoenix. It's whatever.
Good.
It couldn't be more like, if you guys came all the way out here for that, we would definitely go in and be like, wow, fucking great.
Oh, you realize next time we're in Phoenix, we're going to this place, right?
No. Like, Dave gave all those Connecticut places like nines, like over nines, and he doesn't ever give nines. And this place he gave a 7.3, and I agree with him.
Nice. All right. Well, and there's a documentary about this place?
Yeah, the owner has a Netflix documentary, or I think it's like a documentary about several pizza places, and he has an episode, and they're how he has like the best pizza in the world apparently in the documentary, and I personally would rather just like, given that I have to go to downtown Phoenix to get it, I'd rather just order freaking Domino's.
Let's go. What about, would you rather pop in like a Totino's?
No, come on.
Okay. All right, I'm just
Tombstone.
seeing.
Tombstone. I'd rather have a Tombstone pizza. I'd rather have a Tombstone pizza.
Maybe we can get these guys to sponsor us. Pizzeria Bianco.
Do you want a pizza place to sponsor it, like a individual store? Because I can make a few calls.
And we just talk shit about them for like 10 minutes.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's the formula. Maybe we've been too like Truly's like, you guys already like us, so we don't. But okay, but these guys,
they gotta earn our respect. They're like,
all right.
just come drive down here to get a pizza. Like, come on, what the fuck? I gotta drive all the way over there to get it.
Right. All right. Let's see. What else? Got a lot more questions here. Ryan Bitter says, rate these 4 Prism parallels based on their aesthetic appearance. Black 1 of 1, Black Finite 1 of 1, Nebula 1 of 1, Gold Vinyl out of 5.
Ooh, I like this question. Just purely aesthetics?
Only aesthetics.
All right, you go first.
Okay, I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say this. Look, this is a tricky question because what he's trying to point out is that maybe the values don't line up with the aesthetics. But here's the thing: if we're going with aesthetics, I need to know more than what the parallel is. Who's the player? What's their jersey colors? Because that makes a huge difference to me. If a player has a black jersey on a Prism black card, it looks a lot better than maybe. Well, it matters. If we're talking aesthetics, it all matters. But we'll just put that to the side. I'm going to say Black Finite is my number 1. Gold Vinyl is my number 2. But I don't even like Gold Vinyl for Prism because Optic owns Gold Vinyl. I'll go Nebula number 3. And then I'll go the normal True Black 4th.
Same. Switch the Nebula and the black. I'd rather have the black.
Okay.
Aesthetically.
You just not like the way the Nebulas look?
It's fine. I just feel like if it wasn't a 101, I would be like, whatever. It's like a, they're trying to make this fancy looking whatever.
Yeah. Fair.
I'm going Nebula, Finite, Black, Gold Vinyl.
Nice.
I like the stars and the galaxy look of the Nebula as an aesthetic.
Plus, it has the scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Black Finite. That's my favorite looking Panini card, and it sucks that they really only do it for football. All right. Drake's PC. Finally, we get to Drake. He says golf and wrestling have seen the highest card letter index percentage increases over the last month. Funny you noticed, Drake. Wrestling is going up. Do you think more collectors are entering other categories outside of the major stick and ball sports? Ooh. Or is it something else? So I can answer part, like, I know for a fact that the card letter golf index, has 39 cards. So not a representative sample by any means. It's a pretty small sample size. It's dominated by Tiger Woods. Wrestling has 121, which is a bit more. But do I think more collectors are entering and going beyond stick and ball? I think sometimes people do explore beyond the stick and the ball. What do you say to this, Josh?
Yeah, I feel like I've been saying this for a couple of years where we had this like huge influx of new people, and a lot of those people were looking to jump into other categories and they were enjoying it. So I never hated it. I mean, except for the fact that people are hyping it for their value. But I do think a lot of people joined a lot of those categories for collecting. Like we saw a lot of people stick around with soccer, and I feel like we've seen a decent amount of people stick around with UFC and wrestling. So sure.
I think that's a really even-handed take. I can tell you that I know a few people who like were content to just collect like baseball and football or basketball and football, but they really liked having the ability to collect wrestling. There's a collectibles aspect of wrestling that's sort of always been there, and I know that they really enjoyed being able to expand their collecting horizons with key brands that are familiar in the hobby and being able to expand it into wrestling. I can attest to that. Drake is evidence of that.
It's once I hear the phrase though, something along the lines of like, oh, this sport is undervalued in cards because look at the fan base they have worldwide outside of cards. It's like that's when I'm like, you're just trying to trick people into joining that category so that you can pump the value. That's usually the phrase I stay away from. I heard a ton of that with like soccer and freaking cricket or whatever.
Cricket. Yeah. Okay, all right. Big Cheese Sports Cards has this question. How do ghost cards gain provenance, traction, and demand over the long run if no one ever sees them or knows of them? And by ghost card, I mean a super rare card that is never seen and never comes to the market to sell.
Well, I think that's a great question and a great point. But usually that stuff that we're talking about in terms of like this category is like a parallel.
Right.
So like we know it exists, but it doesn't sell. And we know it's probably somewhere out there, like the Luca. We know the Luca Black exists and we haven't seen it, so that kind of actually adds to the value of it. But if we're talking about like a more obscure one-of-one card that nobody ever knew even existed, yeah, I don't think you're going to ever see the value of something like that, move up because it's just like so, like the LeBron Ultimate at a 25, the horizontal RPA. I feel like that one kind of falls into this category where it's actually way more rare than all of his other stuff. It's 4 times as rare as his RPA, his exquisite RPA. It's not talked about. It never sells. You rarely see him come up, but the value never really quite reaches, even like Topps Chrome refractor prices because of this reason. It's kind of like an unknown card. We don't see it enough to really get any love, and it's not a parallel to something else we know about. It's kind of on its own. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely. And like, I like how you point out, like, if it's a parallel, then like we can easily imagine what it would be by using all the other pieces of information we do have, like the lesser known parallels and how coveted the product is and the set is. And then the one I wanted to add is like, you also have probably that same card selling for other players that can key you in. So like, if it's like, let's just stick with Prism Black. If it's a Prism Black of a Luka that you've never seen before, but you do know that the Trae Young sold for $500,000 once. So like you can use the Trae thing to triangulate how coveted or desired the Luka might be. You can do that too. So like there's lots of clues you can use to put together, even if you've never seen or heard of the card, you don't even know if it's ever been pulled. So I just wanted to add that one too. Okay.
The difference I think is like rarity versus obscurity.
Yes. Totally. Yep. Okay, AP Cards 23 says, if Panini put it to a vote and gave people in the hobby two options. Option A, you can keep going with Panini's current design strategy, which is that they don't change stuff year over year. You know, all the kabooms look similar, all the downtowns look similar. Or option B, Panini would start making big design changes every year, similar to what Arena Design did in the 90s, how the two golden touches didn't look anything like each other. Which one would you choose? Continuity or creativity?
I feel like it's not fair for me to answer because I just don't have any of these cards to be able to make my case. It's like I wouldn't want to disrupt what everyone else. I wouldn't want to have a vote. You know, I just feel like it wouldn't be fair to the people that have so much at stake with these cards.
Yeah. I'm going to make a distinction. Base set design should be consistent year after year. And the parallels should be super consistent year after year. The numbering should be the same. The look should be the same. The color should be the same. But if we're talking inserts, then inserts should follow the 90s model. Like I don't want 10 kabooms from 10 years that all look the same. I think each kaboom should look unique and different. So that's the distinction. But like NT, like I don't want NT to change every year because it's not about the design. It's about having the cornerstone RPA of the players in that class. It just needs to look good, and it should look consistent. But inserts, those are about the design. So
what if like you know how like the rubies from 97 and 98 was like wildly different?
yes.
What if the prism black or gold was maybe not that different, but like they still incorporated the colors, but they really changed it up that drastically? That would bother you?
It would. Yeah, I wouldn't like it. But I see what you're saying. But then what about this? What if like we had a PMG red and a PMG green like every year? You know, what if like Kobe had a PMG red and a PMG green and for his rookie year, and then Duncan had one for his rookie year, and then Dirk and Tracy McGrady and everybody had one. You know, what about that? Like, what would you think about that?
At that point, is it a rookie-only product, or would the vets have additional?
It's a parallel to the whole base set.
Okay.
So it would be rookies and vets.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what made that set so intriguing is that there's only one PMG green Penny Hardaway. There's only 10 total from 1 year. I don't have the ability to like. It's really, really hard to get a PMG Penny because there's only 10 from 1 year.
Yep.
So like historically, that kind of like makes it more interesting. But I see your point too. Like it would be kind of cool to have 3 PMG green Penny Hardaways. Like, not gonna lie, you know. Years.
That's why I want to split the baby, and I want to say, you know, for stuff that's like there's stuff that can be one-offs. Like I love the fact that the Rubies designs are one-offs, and you know, but then I also want there just to be the one Prism Black finite in football every year, and I do want it to look the same, because like every player's only going to have one rookie Prism Black finite, and I want it to be, you know, like, because I'll give you this example. I think Prism made a mistake when, like, in Giannis's rookie year, they gave him a Prism Black and a Prism Black Mosaic, but in all the other years they didn't. You know, I just like it the best the way football does. You just have the Prism Black finite 1 of 1, and that's it. I like the way they did it. All right. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to this one. Grail Quest card says, what are your top 3 basketball or football movies? Christina, I'm going to need your help on this one too, because I have.
What?
Top 3 basketball or football movies. We gonna put Air Bud in here?
Oh, movies.
Jeez.
Like you were saying moves, and I was like, I don't fucking play football, like, or basketball, like what, like a crossover, like I don't know moves. Movies. Basketball, Space Jam, the original,
Space Jam.
obviously.
All right.
Football, Little Giants.
Little Giants. All right.
And then I'm going to throw a wrench in this and say...
What about the movie with the pitcher, Ricky Bond?
Well, that's why
Major League.
Major League.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to throw a wrench in here, and I'm going to pull in a new sport for the...
Don't you dare.
You did?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
Ooh, that's a good one.
All right, John.
The one that Jake just called out, Remember the Titans, is probably my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And then the chat says Friday Night Lights, that's a good one. Above the Rim, He Got Game, Mighty Ducks. I like that Adam Sandler movie. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was good. With Juan Herman Gomez.
No, Waterboy or the golf one? Happy Gilmore.
No. Oh, I was thinking of the new one with Juan Herman Gomez.
Oh, okay. Hustle.
Oh, yeah. Happy Gilmore's, though. Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Waterboy is a hilarious movie. Football is the devil.
Yeah.
Waterboy's great.
I like Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore makes the cut.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans is
It's so fucking sad.
It's very sad. Yeah, but
I love that movie.
We'll cover that.
I love that movie, but you have to be in the right headspace to watch it. Otherwise, you get depressed.
Yeah. I just really like when he makes him run through the rain and the team bonds. I just love all that shit.
My favorite part is when he's giving them the talk. Like, you drop a pass, you run a mile. You do this, and if you lose, I'll break my foot off in your ass, and then you will run a mile.
So good.
I don't know what the accent was. I apologize.
The chat says Uncut Gems.
Ugh.
I got another one.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg, Invincible, I think, where he tries out for the Eagles. That's a good movie.
Oh, yeah, the movie that proved that football players can come off the streets.
in the 70s and 80s.
Right,
I just really like
that was a good
Mark Wahlberg. I like, Rocky. Stiff says Rocky. Those are great movies.
Ooh,
I did not like that.
Rocky it is. All right, we just completed the list. Remember the Titans,
Moneyball.
Happy Gilmore, and Rocky. And then you got all three. You got the sad, emotional, inspirational, which is Remember the Titans. You have the hilarious comedy, Happy Gilmore, and then you have the action-packed,
Classic.
epic, which is Rocky.
The classic. I like that list.
You literally said, Christina, you need to pay attention to these movies.
You got us started.
I picked the three
Dude,
movies. And
I'm a big...
Like, yeah, fuck you, here are the actual list.
I'm a
Pretty much.
big Major League fan. Big Major League fan. That I could see Major League going in over Happy Gilmore.
Fair. And especially because, Happy Gilmore obviously is sports-related, but Major League feels even more sports-driven.
Well, the only good thing about Happy Gilmore is that he wanted to be a fucking hockey player, but he was no good at skating, so that's how he became a golfer.
Where were you on that one, dipshit?
The price
That's
is
the
wrong.
best. That's like my favorite line in movie history when he's like, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but I have a funny one in my mind as well. Go ahead. Which one are you talking about?
He's assigned a caddy, and it's like this little kid, like this curly blonde hair, and he's like, yeah, help me out, I'm new, like, tell me what to do. And then he's standing next to the guy about to tee off, and he's just fucking standing there, and the guy's like, get out of the way. He walks over to the kid and he's like, where were we on that one, dipshit?
Okay, is Happy Gilmore the movie that has the O'Doyle rules scene? Oh, damn. All right. Damn.
The banana peel?
Yeah, where they're chanting O'Doyle rules as the car goes over the cliff. Yeah.
Billy Madison's my wife's favorite movie.
Ooh, another one, that Miracle. That was a really good
That's a good one.
movie that ended happily.
Miracle. All right.
It was a hockey movie.
Also, Thunderstruck with Kevin Durant.
I haven't seen that.
Movie of all time. It's like a totally crappy movie. Or, oh no, dude, both of our new guys had Thunderstruck with Kevin Durant and then Uncle Drew with Kyrie Irving.
Okay. All right, well, there's been a lot of good sports movies. Can't deny that. All right. Fat Boy Sirius would like us to discuss Stewie and Sloot to the Liberty.
What?
WNBA.
Yeah, this is WNBA, right? Breanna Stewart.
Yeah.
And then this is like a big thing where like there was tampering involved or something.
Yeah, supposedly.
So that's all I know about this one. Bad Boy Serious. But
the fighter.
The fighter?
Mark Wahlberg. Telling you guys, Mark Wahlberg's the man.
Who else was in The Fighter?
Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yep.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. I thought The Hobby was just going to go to the moon when Mark Wahlberg's sons got involved.
Oh, that didn't work? Man.
It didn't. Damn. Maybe we just need Mark to hold up like a Jordan Fleer or something. Maybe we need Mark to just go to LeBron's record-setting game and just hold up a Kareem sticker over Kareem's shoulder when he's being interviewed.
Dude, there needs to be like a button that someone presses. That anytime someone presses that button, and a celebrity is forced to show off a card from their collection.
Yeah. Give me one.
I'm gonna watch Fighter. I'm watching Fighter tomorrow night. That's gonna happen.
Nice. Yeah. Dude, I've been stuck on a TV show.
What?
I've been stuck on a TV
If you say Frasier, I'm leaving the live right now.
No, not
It's
Frasier.
so much worse.
It's
John.
worse than Frasier. It's totally worse than Frasier.
Well, that's very easy to be, but like this is so much. This is not.
Here's the thing.
Awful.
I have notoriously bad taste when it comes to TV shows and movies.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
I pride myself on this. Like, if a movie
And pizza.
and pizza.
And pizza.
If a movie has below a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, there's a decent chance your boy's gonna like it.
That's why you said Air Bud was the first thing out of your freaking mouth. What is it? Come on.
All right, it's called The Circle.
Oh, that show is so bad. What?
Yes.
Christopher. That's just
Look,
TV.
fucking terrible.
I watched the first season years ago when it first came
Yeah,
out.
I've seen
then-
season 1.
I went back. I said there was 6 seasons. I watched the 6th, and now I'm on the 2nd, and it's just captivated me. It's almost consumed my life. It's almost. I need to start collecting some of these cards. These.
He'll literally turn it on, and I'll just walk away and close the door.
Yeah, I really would have expected. That's a Christina. That's like more of a female show, isn't it?
How
Excuse me?
dare you?
Fuck you, Josh. I don't watch
Isn't it though?
reality TV.
All right. Well, look, I called the shot. I am proud of the show because, like, I watched it when it had 1 season. I forgot about it for years. It's been a huge hit because it has 6 seasons now. So, I don't know. I just
Wait, do you guys know that I watched Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise?
Okay. Let's go. We're getting some
No, that's
confessions
fucking
here.
awful. Isn't that a girl show?
Tell us more.
Well, my wife likes it, and I watch it with her, but now I kind of like it.
Yep, you got hooked. They sucked you in. You got to be careful with that. You can't sample it unless you're ready to actually like it.
That's not.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible though. Like, it's horrible. I understand it's terrible as I'm watching it, but I'm like, oh well, it's horrible, but it's for me.
Well, I've got another contender for episode title. Did you guys know I watched Bachelor in Paradise?
Ugh.
Okay, so we got that on the list here.
But you
Who hosts?
gotta do like a little circle logo emoji.
A little red circle. Yeah.
What if we made like a card reality show and you took personalities from the hobby and you put them in a paradise? I assume they're in a mansion or something. Like
No, they're on the beach.
We don't want to see card personalities with their shirts off.
But then like instead of like dating, like
Why can't they date each other?
they could.
They could be
but-
speed dating.
They're flipping to each other.
But I was thinking more like you have to like bring the cards in somehow. So like
Well, look,
every week they have to compete by like having a mail day, and then the audience gets to vote who had the best mail day, and it could be the coolest looking card people vote for, or it could be like the best deal, and like then you get voted off the island. Like if you
okay, don't give away all the goods.
okay, sorry.
First of all, I love it because we're all getting rich,
Yeah.
and cards are finally going to go mainstream. So,
Oh, thank God. We'll be rich.
yep. Okay, Josh, how would you design a hobby-related reality show?
Well, shouldn't we be asking Ken when his show's coming out? Because I feel like it's getting awkward.
We did get a question about that to the chat. We've got a few questions about that, but we don't have any answers to that. I mean, we are not involved in that show. Maybe that's what they did wrong. They should have tapped in the three of us and Stiff, and then Peyton Manning would have saw that episode and he would have said, rubber stamp, sponsors, Red Barons and Truly.
Going above them now. Remember going
Nike.
And
We're
Nike.
Nike. We're a Nike squad.
now. We're not. And fuck it. Let's,
Yeah, Luca.
like let's go full on like.
What does Jokic wear? Is he like an and one sponsored player?
Jokic is sponsored by Skechers. No, I don't know.
Skechers? That's better. Yeah, he's a Skechers guy.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Puma.
Jokic is sponsored by Velcro shoes, so just his signature brand is 3 Velcro straps.
He's sponsored by Asics. Not even a basketball shoe. It is like a running shoe.
He fits the demographic for the wearers of
Apparently-
Asics pretty well.
He wears Nike. South says he wears Nike. So we're a Luka Nike, LeBron Nike, Jokic Nike. There you
Nice. All right. All right.
go. Very, very famously Nike.
Dude, I'm so upset with myself because somebody wrote in a question about these kids in the hobby, and I didn't write it down. I didn't.
I know. I remember it.
Put in your story.
Yeah, I put in my story. Yeah.
I remember it.
Here it is. Here. Oh,
I remember
Josh
it.
remembers it. I have it too. All right. Can I? I'll just read it.
Well, I want to guess first, see
Okay.
how right I am.
I guess first.
It was something about like how like a kid came up and said like at the show, "Hey, can I have something?" He goes, "You're like the 7th kid to ask me. I get
Yes.
Get out of here."
Yes. All right, here we go. That's exactly right. I was at a card show last weekend, and I witnessed a kid walk up to a dealer and say, "Sir, I'm doing a trade-up challenge." ... The man behind the table looks at me quickly and then back at the kid and says, "I've already done 7 trade-up challenges today, kid." You idiot. No, he didn't say that part. I started dying laughing and instantly thought of you guys and your take on kids in the hobby. Thank you. Just thought I would share this moment with you all.
Yeah, how many kids do we have to support to then
These kids should-
years later take us down? Why would we support them and then they take us out years later?
Exactly, dude. These kids should be supporting us. I've been saying this for a long time. They should be paying into the social security of the hobby. This Ponzi scheme is working the wrong way.
Ponzi? FedEx? What's happening?
I don't know why. Sometimes I go to Ponzi. I know it's Ponzi, but I can't stop myself. Sometimes I go Ponzi. Just like sometimes I say Italian, but it's really Italian. I don't know what comes over me.
That's because you're not Paisan.
Wait, hold on. You know the shoe brand with 3 lines? What's that shoe brand name?
Adidas.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, say it again.
Right? Adidas.
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 Us, not
Dude, there's
Drink
a
the
whole
sea.
swath of people. I think most of them are overseas, but they call it Adidas. I was like, what did you just say? Adidas? What is happening?
That reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger saying Abada, Abada for the movie Avatar. Adidas.
Adidas. But there's like more than 3 people I've heard say it that have channels about shoes, and it's like, what is happening? Adidas? That's not right.
That's a totally fair grievance.
It's a Euro thing. Thank you. Okay, I get it now. It's a Euro thing. I figured.
We're just putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Christina thought that Adidas ended with a Z.
It's Adidas.
Adidas.
Oz. Like
Oz.
as. like Adidas.
Az or Oz?
I don't know. It's just Adidas. That's how I say
And
it.
I think they say Nike as well. Like they don't say Nike, they say Nike.
Okay, you're just trying to piss me off now.
I know. I was getting mad. I was like, say the whole word, motherfucker.
Not
This
Nike.
ain't no Nike. This ain't no Adidas. It's Nike and Adidas.
I do.
These are American companies.
Now that you mention this, I do think I've seen Australians calling them Nikes before.
Dude.
Nikes.
No, nice Nikes. I like your Nikes, mate. These are Nikes, actually, sir. Thank you.
Oh, Lord.
In Australia, the continent where Europe literally sent prisoners to inhabit.
Christina's always got the haymaker for the Aussies if they mess with her.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
they mess with me a lot, too, so I always just bring it up, like, shut up, you fucking degenerate.
Didn't we sort of like destroy some stuff when we came here?
That may have happened, yeah.
No, I'm not, okay, but, like, the people who came here, like, chose to come here throughout history. Well,
What she's saying is that
not all of them. But I'm saying in Australia, like, it was literally founded to be a prison colony. Like, they literally sent the people who were so bad that, like, all of Europe was like, I don't want you to be on the same continent as us, so let's put you on a boat and ship you far
okay, we're not going to have any more Australian listeners in a moment.
That's okay.
So those are their ancestors or people nobody wanted?
Yeah, but they overcame. They overcame and they triumphed. As a former president once said, they're not sending their best. But they prevailed. They prevailed. And now Australia is a great
mentality. Mom mentality.
Mamba mentality. Somehow we BS'd our way to the end of this show. Okay. Late 90s b-ball.
That's got to be the title. Somehow we BS'd our way through the show.
Yeah, let me write it down. We've got some contenders this week.
All right. One more question because we got to get to the titles.
I once used this notepad to write down ideas that occurred to me during the show. Now it's just titles.
Silly phrases that we say.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. This came from late 90s b-ball. The question is, you can only collect an NBA player who played less than 10 years with a career average of less than 10 points per game. Who would it be? And like this,
George Mearson.
George Mearson. You came up with that quickly. Why George?
First thing that popped in my head.
When you thought of mediocrity for a long time.
Just thought like he's the tallest player in NBA history. He's got something going for him.
Did he play less than 10 years?
Oh, dude. Yes, I guarantee it. That dude so big that he just couldn't last.
Okay, all right. Well,
Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good – he's averaging more than 10 points per game this year, though. This is so easy for me. I already collect a player who fits these criteria. Frank Ntilikina.
There you go.
Frank Ntilikina has been in the league for 6 years, and he averages about 2 points a game. So –
Top 15 pick.
yeah, lottery pick indeed. Okay. Let's go with one more question.
All right.
Bring us home. God, there's so many ways this could go. You tell me, Josh. Do you want to go serious? Do you want a serious question?
So you got two? You got two on the dock
I
there?
got 10.
I want one.
Pick a number. How about this? Pick a number 1 through 10, and that's the one I'll go with.
6.
Oh, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, here we go. JC2 Collect says, please discuss parallel sets like Topps, Chrome, Sapphire, Ben Baller, where it is the same picture across all the sets, but the cards have a different flair? Or do you prefer Panini's version, where you make 50 different products rather than having parallel products that have the same pictures?
7.
Question 7.
Just kidding. No, just kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding. That was a joke. I was going to do that no matter what you said. I like the 50 different products.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But you can do. It's cool to have like Donruss and Optic or Tops and Tops Chrome. That's cool though too.
The Sapphire thing always confused me. We don't really have that in basketball.
Right.
I know that's like a big thing in soccer, and I guess it's like a Tops thing. But soccer and baseball, I never quite understood the. We just don't have any history with that, so we just don't get it. We don't understand it.
Right. Okay, pick another number, 1 through 9.
All right. 3.
Okay. Question 3 is from Saints Cards 12. How much would you comfortably overpay for a key 1-of-1 card of your PC player?
Percentage-wise?
I guess, yeah.
Like 30%?
Yeah. First of all, it's tough to figure out the market value for a card like that in the first place. So, taking that into consideration, there is a cutoff. I've reached cutoffs where it's like I've made such a big offer that like I'm done. But I think for me, I max out at maybe like 2x the market value. If the person's still not willing to sell it to me at 2x the market value, that's where I cut the line and let the ship float out to sea.
Well, I should have said 0 because I sold my only 1-of-1 today. I couldn't do it. I still like 1-of-1.
Because if I'm following the movement, you sold the 1-of-1, but you brought in another gold prism of CP3.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd rather have the gold prism than the 1-of-1. It's crazy.
No, it's not crazy. I think a lot of people.
The 1-of-1s are easy to sell, man. I thought it might be a while because it was Chris Paul, and that was an easy card to sell. A lot of people wanted that thing.
Nice. Well, good to know. All right. Josh, you
Titles.
are
Let's go.
a soldier for doing the show after traveling and flying and everything. All right, let's do titles. Tap the bin.
No.
It's all kind of ridiculous. We're collecting sports cards. 3 soft corners. When are we gonna learn? I don't know why I wrote that one down.
That could be the title every week.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you explore beyond the stick and ball. Or we can just go with stick and ball as well. Panini's back room. That's clickbait. That's clickbait for sure.
I like that. That's pretty good. People will be like, what are these guys talking about?
Yep. That's clickbait there. All right.
See the eyeball emoji.
All right. We don't want to see card personalities with their shirts off.
Facts.
That's just a declarative statement of truth. And we've BS'd our way to the end of the show.
I like that one a lot. That's really funny.
That one becomes increasingly accurate. Well, I guess it's down to Panini Backroom or we BS'd our way. I think Panini Backroom is better because it's shorter.
Yeah, agreed. I like that one. Christina?
I approve.
Okay. Oh, fuck. Christina approval. And
Well, that's my opinion then.
no, I'm glad we got the approval. I'm just
How many weeks out would it be to where when you read that caption title, Panini Backroom, where you were like, I have no idea what we were talking about?
It wouldn't take that many.
Like 1?
Yeah, maybe like 1 to 2, maybe 3.
Oh, Stiff Scott, do the Panini Backroom with the eggplant.
Oh no! Why the eggplant?
Whoa.
Also, Christina's already. I can see what she's typing. She's preparing her apology to the Australian community.
And not.
In particular, the Australian collector community, who are.
I told each one of them, there's only 20. I told each one of them like this in some respect, except for my girl Alex, who I respect too much to say this to her.
All
So
right.
if Alex is listening, I apologize. Everyone else, go fuck yourself.
There's going to be a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. Opinions uttered by Christina do not.
That should be on every show.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We love you guys down under.
Some of you.
How about the Australian card community? No, we don't want to put even more attention on it. All right, we got it. All right, Josh. See you next week, buddy.
A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.